all over the world, especially those people down in Australia that are following us. Right, Wayne?
Absolutely. Downtown Australia.
Yeah. Very, very cool. All right. I got a little bit of technical difficulties today, as you might be able to tell. If you've been with me before, you could see that I've got some technical difficulties, but I'm doing the best to combat it. That's all I could say. Doing the best I can. So if I'm using an iPad in front of me, I've got my computer behind me, which is the host. It just seems like, for whatever reason, my camera stopped working on my computer. So anyway, welcome everybody. And today is our first day. Today is our first day. Look at that. Nothing but technical difficulties. But today is our very first day where we've changed the name of the show. And now it's Thinking Out Loud with Friends. And what I mean by that is exactly that. Thinking out loud with friends. You know, we started the show because of COVID, and we all needed a place to join each other and share ideas. Now everybody's back to more or less normal, if you can be normal. I don't think it's possible to be normal anymore. I think COVID has changed everything. But anyway, this is our 185th meeting. So, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion, and we're thinking out loud starting right now. So who's got some thought that they want to share?
I like the new name. I got the email this morning. I was like, oh, they've changed the name of the show. I haven't been here in weeks and weeks and weeks because I've been doing football. But that's over with now, thank goodness. So, hi, everybody. Good to see you all. It's been months. Glad to be back.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Fred.
Yeah, and everybody here is a friend, and we're building up the show. We might have some new people in today. A lot of people have asked me if, one person, all right, a lot of people, one person asked me if he could join, and I said, actually, two people, come to think of it. Neither one of them are here, though.
So Fred, where was your last gig at? Your last game at?
Oh my God! They put us in Minnesota, and it snowed. It was 28 degrees. No, sorry, it was 15 degrees on the setup day, and on show day it started snowing 1 hour to air, and it snowed all the way through the game, all the way through strike, all the way to the next day, and with the wind chill, it was like 14 degrees. This Arizona boy was not happy. I had two of everything on, and I was still cold.
You're just sitting in the truck, aren't you, with a space heater?
No, I'm not sitting in the truck with a space heater. I'm sitting in the truck with equipment that needs to be cooled.
Oh, okay.
So, but it was the strike because it's the last day. We had to count everything. So luckily, the stadium had a nice space inside, so we were able to open all the cameras and all the cases and everything inside, and then we shuttled them out little by little and put them in the belly bays. So everything didn't drive away wet and snowy, thank goodness. But it was still.
Oh, I bet you were glad to get on that plane.
I was glad to get on that plane and get out of Minnesota. And it's
what game was it, Fred?
What?
What game was it?
I don't know.
Minnesota and Iowa State, I think.
Yeah. I don't know who plays. I'm just there to do the sound. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, it just blends in. Just blends in. Everything
it all just blends in, exactly.
Melds.
You're on a need-to-know basis.
Fred.
What's that?
You're on a need-to-know basis. You don't need to know.
Yeah, I'm on a need-to-know basis, and I don't need to know.
Right.
Yeah, you're never going to have to say, you know, as you start the broadcast, you're never going to have to say, well, hey, hello Cleveland or hello Detroit. You never have to do that, so it doesn't matter where you are.
Or hello Sioux City.
Yeah, hello Sioux City. Yeah, that's right. You know, so you know,
Sioux Falls.
Yeah, Greg, I got a question for you. Have you seen Jeff Bezos' yacht? Is he parking it by you? Because I hear
No.
he can't. His boat is so big, his yacht is so big that he has no place to park it. He has to park it, and it makes no sense to me that you spend that kind of billions of dollars on a yacht, and you have to park it next to oil tankers. So it's like, what a view of an oil tanker. Have you heard about
that's
this? His
down
boat is
south.
too big to anchor near all the other yachts. It's that big. And it's not a power boat. It's a sailing boat, from what I understand.
Yeah, 3 masts.
I saw one of those in Cabo, but we looked it up, and it was a Russian oligarch guy.
Yeah, the big blue boat in Cabo, right? It was just here.
Yep.
That's the 8th largest yacht in the world, and Jeff Bezos is the 2nd largest.
So it's a triple mast
It's almost 100 feet longer.
Jesus, I can't believe they got that thing in the marina there in Cabo.
Oh, that was really big.
Yep.
Wow.
Beautiful. That was 2 masts.
Yeah. I guess people were
How
complaining.
many smokestacks was yours, David?
My ship? Just one.
Yeah. How many
One
smokestacks?
No, and the ships today only have one area where they vent all the engines. Somewhere in the back third of the ship.
That Digico could qualify as a smokestack too.
Well, that's funny.
Oh, I can
for
say
those people who
something
don't
bad
know what he's
about
talking about.
Gamble only because I've lifted on them, and I would just say that they would, if they had gambles in every theater on a cruise ship, they'd have to reduce capacity. But or
Have
the
to balance
old
them out.
piano ones as well.
I think most of the cruise ships these days have not gambles, have Digicos on them, right, Dave? Haven't you seen mostly? I mean, that's what I hear. But Dave's got personal experience.
Well, I've only been on Royal Caribbean and Princess. Princess, I don't remember what they had.
I'll have a lot of Yamaha, be my guess.
I think Princess might have been Yamaha, but Royal Caribbean and Celebrity are Digico.
And Disney is Yamaha as well, because Disney has I don't know how many decade contract with Yamaha.
Yeah, they're like miles from each other, right there.
Yeah,
they're buddies.
Yeah,
David, I got to give you a compliment. Your video today is the best I've ever seen it.
Who?
Did you get the electric shades for the office?
No, it's dark out.
The time has changed.
Well, it's winter.
Well, there you go. That's the secret. That's the secret, Dave. That's the secret. You got to do it in the dark. All right, that's cool.
Well, from now until March, it'll be like this.
Oh, speaking of Digico, there he is.
Right on cue.
Kenny Newman.
Can't hear you.
Muted.
Kenny muted Newman.
Hello.
Kenny muted Newman.
There he is.
Hey,
How's everything?
look at
How's
that.
everybody?
Hey,
It looks like
Digico.
All good.
It looks like it's a very Barry Christmas behind you.
It is very Barry. Yes.
Huh.
And light right into the camera. Yeah. 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 Well, it's time to set up here in Vegas. I thought I'd listen in on your conversation while I set up,
You got a systems check yet?
I'm right here.
What venue is that, Ken?
That's the Westgate in Las Vegas.
The same one that we were last time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So does he send out Christmas cards that say "Have a Merry Christmas"?
Have a very Barry Christmas. Not just Barry Christmas. By the way, so I think it's what is it, December 11th on what channel? What station?
NBC, right after The Voice.
There you go. That's right. Right after The Voice. This is a paid political announcement for Barry Manilow's Christmas show, and Kenny was doing the mixing. So there you have it.
Still is.
Is it going to be live or was it recorded already?
No, it was recorded like a month ago.
So is this still the same show, though?
The audio will be courtesy of the mix will be done by Tom Davis, the one and only. Wow, what's going on here?
But is he taking the feed from your board, or is he?
No,
did you give him a separate feed?
totally recorded everything independently.
Separate
Well,
smoke.
very
Totally
cool.
independent. He mixed it down. He fixed it up. It's totally a different thing than what the people heard here.
Did they do it with a truck, or did he just set up something to capture it off your console?
He recorded it live in a truck, and then he mixed it at his studio in Nashville.
But did he get the feeds from you? Or did he bring his own stuff in?
He got the feeds from my mic preamps, but that's about it.
Would he do Maddie?
Yeah. Yeah, Maddie is apparently the way to go these days.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, I've not been real happy with Maddie, at least not in the CalRec world. To me, it sounds muddy. I don't know what it is, but Maddie just takes the air out of everything.
Wow.
NASA uses Maddie.
It must be okay then.
Everything.
I'm gonna guess mine is probably because they're probably running at a low. It's probably 48, not 96 or whatever you guys are running. But I'm always on the dual feed trucks. Oh look, Kurt's got he's changing his background.
There I am. There I am.
I'm back again.
Mr. Photoshop.
Can I ask? So the Maddie connection, like the Digico one, the UB box, the little UB box, I thought I'll get keen. I'll set up my Maddie laptop and I can record it all straight off and you need that box, and it was $2,000, right?
Yep. How about that, huh? Yep.
I went, wow.
Yeah, it's not as cheap as you would hope, right?
No, I thought it'd be like $200 or something.
Right. Well, what's it doing? Just converting from Maddie to USB, right?
Basically, yeah, off the Maddie B setup or whatever the next one is.
Those converter boxes are not cheap.
No, I was surprised. I nearly fell off my seat.
Right.
Well, it keeps the amateurs amateur and the pros pros, babe. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
so there you go.
That's about
I was looking at a sync generator yesterday, a time code inserter sync generator. Evertz box, $17,000.
Holy shit!
To make time code. Are you freaking kidding me?
Oh my goodness!
What's it? Gold plated? Friday sales, eh?
I was like, no. I'm gonna go back to PSC.
Did they have any Black
we don't
Friday
need time
sales
for that.
on that?
I don't know. Evertz is pretty proud of their stuff. It's probably why the Studers are probably really expensive now too.
Yeah. I don't think isn't Studer now. Didn't Harman sell off Studer to another brand, another company?
They're with Evertz.
Yeah.
Whatever umbrella Evertz is under. Yeah, Studer Harman is under that now.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think Harman dropped the Studer brand.
Previously,
I think they sold it. Yeah, previously Harman. Yeah.
Oh, previously Harman. Okay.
Yeah, the owner formerly known as Harman. That's it. That's it. But speaking of Christmas, while we're still on Christmas, I just read this great story that, Brenda Lee, rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas. You know that song?
Yeah, it's in our Christmas walk-in list.
Yeah. Right? Rocking around the Christmas tree. Well, listen to this. 65 years after she recorded it, she recorded it when she was 13 years old in 1958. Now she's 78 years old. And 65 years later, for the first time, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree has topped the Billboard 100 list for the very first time. Could you believe it?
Isn't that amazing? I saw that in one of my tech briefs a couple of days ago. I was like, what?
So what the other thing is that you got Brenda Lee, who's 78, and she's got a pop hit, or she's got a country, whatever it is. You got Cher with a Christmas. She's 77. She's number one. And Dolly Parton's album is number one also. They're all in their 70s, and they're all number ones. It's like, what happened? It's pretty cool, actually.
It's pretty awesome, yeah.
Well, that's because we're all living older. And then, of course, Norman Lear he just passed away may he rest in peace, at 101, right? Charlie Munger just died as well, 99. The point of this is people are living longer. So all of a sudden you got 20 more. If you live to 100 and you're 78, do the math. You still got 22 years left to go. That's a long time in the scope of what you could do with yourself. 22 years to just sit in a room and look at the wall. That's a long time. So you might as well do something, But it's kind of interesting because in that video that they just released with Brenda Lee, and she's singing around, they got Trisha Yearwood in there, and I forgot who else they've got it in the video. And I didn't know this, but Dolly Parton's goddaughter is Miley Cyrus.
Oh, you didn't know that, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, Jan. Come on. So you knew it, but you forgot. Know? You knew it, but you forgot.
It's one of those things that who cares, really. I mean, it must mean something to Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus,
Right. They're related.
It's kind of interesting when you think of her father, for the rest of his life, he's got to do achy breaky heart every time he performs on stage. You got to feel sorry for the guy, and his daughter's coming out with hit after hit after hit, By the way, speaking of hit after hit after hit, Taylor Swift, Time Person of the Year, Time Magazine Person of the Year.
Yeah, she paid the guy $100,000 for that. Just kidding.
I heard she bought the magazine, with just some residuals from the movie. She had some spare change.
All right, who's your buddy there, Ken?
I was there.
Jan, tell the story, Jan.
I was witness when the night I was there at the show. These two women from Australia, Wayne, your buddies, came up to the console and said they'd been saving for this trip for like 25 years, and they brought Barry a gift, but they couldn't give it to Barry, so they said, "Hey, we loved your mix, Kenny. You are amazing. You made it sound great. So we have a koala bear for you as a gift." And since that day, the koala bear has lived on. Come on, Kurt, you're missing some Photoshop activity here with not having that koala bear in the
koala
picture.
bear is good.
That's it.
Very friendly.
And what's the name?
What is the name? I think they did have a name, right?
Is there a name? Is there a name?
No, you gave it a name.
Oh, not that I know of. Maybe it's Kenny.
Everybody gives their toy a name.
It says
Thanks.
Thank you. See, they gave me a card and everything. It says, "Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything you do. That the world is a much better place because of people like you."
Hey, Jan, can you mute Kurt's mic?
Huh?
Jan, can you mute Kurt's mic? We can hear him talking on his cell phone on the other side of the room.
Yes, I can. There you go.
So,
right,
Ken,
it's officially muted.
It's up to you, Ken. You're the one that's supposed to name it. It's your toy now.
Kenny Koala. There you go.
Kenny Koala.
They're very friendly chaps, but they can be a bit snappy,
Oh, koalas, yeah.
Not very often.
Women that gave them to me were pretty friendly. They were nice.
No, they're generally friendly.
We have a new family member. We have a new family member that just joined the room. I want everybody to say hi to Christopher Cruz. Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Welcome to Thinking Out Loud.
Unmute him, Jan.
Say again?
Unmute him.
Unmute him. Okay, I'll unmute him for his own. He's unmuted. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages.
Hi, Dan. Finally, nice to see you. How are you?
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, you're not seeing me in the best light because we're having technical difficulties. Normally, I have a better camera, but right now I'm doing it on my iPad because my computer camera stopped working. I have to redo the software on the computer to get it all back. But anyway, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Christopher,
what's new exciting?
Yeah, just a quick note. I went to the Meyer Panther demo in Anaheim. And that was absolutely mind-blowing.
Yep. I went to the one here in Tampa. Was it the Panther 20? 21 LFC, 2100 LFC. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they had 9 Panther elements on each side, and then they had God knows how many LFC 2100s in an end fire array, and then parallel to that, a second end fire array of the LFC 1100s. And so they switched them on and off. So we heard just the Panther array, then we heard just the subwoofers, then we heard just the front fills, which were X40s. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. I have to say that the Panther arrays without a subwoofer delivered really clear, solid, liquid bass. It was amazing. The low end on those things is absolutely phenomenal. So
well, we have someone in the room. We have someone in the room that has quite a lot of those boxes. Kurt?
Yeah, I agree with everything he just said. I've got that exact rig is what I'm using, and with a X40 front fills. I've got 2100s. Some of them are here, some of them are on the way. 1100s, and I agree. It's for some types of music, you almost don't even need subs. And the pattern control is incredible. When you walk off axis, it doesn't fall apart. It just gets quieter.
Yeah, for the gentleman that saw them in Tampa, so I was actually standing on the stage in front of these arrays when they decided to play Tiesto's Boom.
Yeah.
As loud as it could go without clipping. And I had to leave the stage. My hair was moving and I could feel my guts sloshing inside my body. I kid you not, I have never felt it. I've been in MRI machines, I've been in a lot of different things, but man, and I'm a drummer, well, that was good, just spilled water, but there they are back there somewhere. Yeah, I can see them. But yeah, it was absolutely hair raising.
They'll do 150 dB before hitting the TPL limiter. So you have so much headroom that it's like you're never going to run out of headroom.
Oh no, I mean,
and you can hear it.
I'm excited. I'm getting Jan's got me a pair of X40s and 900 LFCs going to be delivered in 10 days. So I just can't wait.
You'll run out of money before you run out of headroom, right?
Yeah, I think Jan once said that you might find something that sounds better than Meyer, but you'll never pay more.
Oh, ouch.
I don't know. The EAW stuff's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Well, all of them is now pretty pricey, but in the beginning, Meyer was number one, then D&B came along, then L Acoustic came along after that. Once somebody saw that people would pay this kind of money, next thing you know, man, it's a race to the moon on how much money you could spend on a PA system.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember seeing Meyer's MS500. For those of you you guys are all looking, about my age, back in like 1990 or 1992, something like that. That was their first kind of multi-speaker point source cabinet with built-in amps, and I heard that, and that was it. I never left Meyer ever since.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
They do a good job with that demonstration, though. I was lucky enough. We were out. There was an outdoor arena, so we had 16 aside, just one long array with 16 cabs, and no long throws, or just standard Panthers, and then they had 6 2100s aside. So that was very interesting.
And they had them in the end fire array. Were the subs on the ground, or did they have them up?
They were on the ground. They didn't fly them. They just put them on the stage.
Yeah, that's
one right behind each other. It was kind of interesting.
What they did in Anaheim. Yeah.
I told Maxon that my lawyer is going to get a hold of him about unauthorized use of my images.
Oh yeah, that's right. Kurt's pictures Well, no, actually, it is authorized because you posted it on the.
I know. I'm just giving you crap. But yeah, that's the rig they were showing you. The outdoor amphitheater shots.
Well, actually, you know, the interesting thing, the only time that I've ever been sued in all the 26 years that I've been in business was Yamaha. And it was when they came out with the PM5. I think, you know, like they had the PM4, then they came out with the PM5. And I had put their pictures. We gotten the listing from I guess it was Larry Italia had put it together in such a way that they wouldn't make me a dealer, but I could sell all of their stuff through a dealer, you know, which was up north. And so they gave us that listing, that information of the PM5. We put it up, and then we grabbed the picture off of the website, put the PM5, and I got a call from their product manager on a Friday, and he says, "Hey, how could you possibly have this PM5 hasn't been released yet?" And I explained to him what was going on. He said, "Oh, okay." I said, "You want me to take it down?" He says, "No." And then on Tuesday, I got a package about that thick, about 2 inches thick, from their lawyer in Washington, D.C., with a cease and desist order that I had stolen their copyrighted picture. And the lawyer, in the explanation going to this, explained to me that I could have written anything I wanted, but once I took their picture off of the website, that was copyright infringement. Wow. So, Kurt, you can get them. You can get them. Go get them, Kurt.
Only if he calls me back.
Yes. Well, good luck on that. You know, good luck on that.
He's been good lately, actually.
I like when he used to come to the show. He used to come in, and he would be a ghost. He would be in the background. You know, he wouldn't put his camera on. But you know, yeah, we've had a lot of interesting people through the years. I mean, hey, by the way, you know, Tom Durr, who used to be a regular, now is too busy because now he is the national sales manager for Allen and Heath. So congratulations to Tom. You know, if you haven't seen him, I heard him.
What did you do to piss off Mike Cavlo guy?
I was going to ask the same
Mike
thing.
Mike is so busy.
He's on LinkedIn every day.
Right now.
He called me looking for some D&B amps, and I'm like, "Do you know who you're calling?"
Like, what? He must have dialed the wrong number.
Calling the Meyer guy for D&B. That's pretty weird, huh?
I was like, "We don't even use amps."
Yeah. Can I ask a question, Jan?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just curious.
You don't have to have permission.
Just because you guys have so much collective experience, I'm looking for a small board. So I bought preferably blue without, you know, knobs and sliders. So I bought a Soundcraft UI 24R. I'm not terribly pleased with it. Then I started looking at these Yamaha. Then I started looking at these Yamaha, the TF series, and then everybody is like, "That's total garbage. It's only for people who don't know how to mix." Then I looked at they had a Yamaha, I think it's the SD3. They've got kind of a rack version of that. But what's kind of a good, solid board for me? I do front of house for small bands and stuff like that. And I don't want to have to lug around a big, you know, thing with sliders, and just kind of a tablet controlled mixer.
The only one I've ever dealt with, it was a sporting event, was the M32 rack. It's about a 5 RU box, and you hook a PC to it.
They make another one in that series. It's the M32C, I think, which is literally just a single rack space, and there's nothing on it. You can't do anything without an iPad.
I did a gig with a guy who was using an Allen Heath, and he was really happy with it. The Allen Heath little, it must be a rack mount dealy bob that only gets
they have something in that product space. I haven't had a chance.
I would go with that over the, you know, Guitar Center Midas stuff any day of the week.
Sure. Allen and Heath, man.
There's a CDM32, I think.
It's on the move right now. It's actually, they've got I think it's called the SQ series, if I remember correctly. But I think
SQs are,
believe it or not,
pricey, though,
we have I believe we have it listed on Sound Brokers, so but we can get you whatever you need.
So who makes the M32?
Well, it's now
Behringer and Midas.
It's Midas.
Oh, that's the X32 or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
The M32 is much better build quality, much more robust, and if you open it up, they look very different inside. The software is the same, but the build quality and the components are much better on the Midas version.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually own an M32R, but I wouldn't own an X32. No way.
Well, the phone won't fit on the holder anymore.
So between the M32R from Midas and the Allen and Heath, what's the vote?
Oh, well, Allen and Heath.
I would go Allen and Heath.
Absolutely. Heath's going to sound better. I own like
it's probably going to be more intuitive to use as well. The M32 and the X32 operating system is, how would you say, it's ass? I don't know. It's horrible. I hate it.
They're also getting kind of old. So
yeah, they're kind of long in the tooth. Where the Allen Heath stuff is what, 2 years old now?
And support on Allen and Heath's a lot better as well. Music Tribe support is just, they're the Midas support on the HD series is great. I hear from the people at ESI. But the Music Tribe stuff on the Midas, Midas / Behringer stuff is just, it's hard to get parts now.
What about the CDM32 Allen and Heath? It's just a standalone rack. You can just use it with iPads. You can connect it to any, but it's out of the D-Live range.
Yeah, that's what I think that's what we're talking about. Is something that you run with a PC as opposed to having actual.
Yeah,
fingers, right?
but it's above. Yeah, it's above the SQ range. It's in their top of the line range, the D-Live range. So it's a CDM32, and it's a standalone. You can just use it with iPads, computer, or you can use it with a Surface.
Yeah, I really like my D-Live stuff. The workflow is great. It's very easy, very intuitive. Unlike the Digico, which is neither of those.
Neither.
Did you see Ken turn around on that?
That's why I said it. See if he's.
Yeah, well, once you get into the waves, you get into the waves genre, then it starts to get complicated immediately, from what I've been told.
Well,
I haven't mixed the show in a long time.
It's just it's not intuitively laid out. Like, things aren't where you think they should be, and you can't customize anything. Now, I don't know about Ken's. I'm not talking about SD12.
Unmute Fred.
The deal is, Kurt, every console has a learning curve, and it's just that the Digico's learning curve is infinite. That's all. Because I haven't used it. How long have I been using this thing? I still don't know how to use it.
Yeah. Joshua might be able to help you. Josh is there.
I don't know.
He could probably give you some advice.
Yeah, I'm not a Digico fan. I like the Allen Heath better.
Yeah,
kids these days, kids like the Allen Heath.
Which one is that?
I mean, I do have a Digico S31 board that I like, but
yeah. What was that? What was that? What was that model number? What was that model number, Wayne?
A CDM32.
CDM32, Christopher. Look that one
up.
I'm
making notes. I mean, I've kind of circled the Allen and Heath, and then I'm going to check out the CDM32 as well.
Yeah, that's the Allen and Heath rack mount. You run it with an iPad or a PC or whatever.
Allen Heath has a nice little one, and I think it's this. I can't remember. They have a rack mount version where you can have to have the iPad, and then they have another one, 16 channel, where you can have the iPad, or it's got a little touch screen on it. It's not the Q Touch. It's a brand new one that just came out. I can't remember it's a CT, I think, or something like that.
And these, I'm assuming these support like a Dante extension box or some other protocol that you can run over Ethernet.
I don't know about that. I think it's more of just a standalone deal. It's 32 channels,
right? The little CT ones are 16. Can only do 16 alone. If you're looking at more than 16, you're looking at like the SQ5 or SQ7 or SQ6 or the Avantis or any of the GD or the QU.
What's the sidecar for, Ken?
Horn section. Christmas horn section.
You've got
Christmas
like
horn section. Ooh.
what, like
Ken, where are you?
128 inputs, and you need
I
a
only
second.
need 12 inputs, but I don't want to have it be on the main surface because then it would be buried somewhere. You know, I like to be able to reach for the faders because I'm old.
Where are you, Ken?
I'm
I
at
like
the
me
Westgate in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
It's a good thing having faders, instant access to faders. I like using instant access faders. That's called mixing on analog boards for years.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I would have recorded his mix, on video, because he really is working hard during the show. He's dancing, he's moving knobs, he's turning faders. I mean, it's impressive watching him.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's watching him as a show in itself, I'm sure, I'm surprised they don't have a video camera just on him so that they could focus and be, a little bit of Barry, a little bit of Kenny, a little bit of Barry, a little more Kenny, that's it. Because he puts on a good show. He moves there in that booth.
I went and saw
I figure every show, I'm only as good as my last show, and I want every show to be the best one I can ever do,
I got to go
That's
see
the same.
Got to go see Britt Floyd last week, and the guy just sat there. It was all preset.
What was that, Fred?
Britt Floyd.
Oh, wow.
I saw the Australian Pink Floyd show last year, but Britt Floyd came through this time.
Interesting.
It was a good show, but the guy didn't. There could have been nobody sitting at the desk.
Did you guys see that the founder of Ocean Way went to the Sphere and completely panned the audio?
Oh, who's that? Who's the founder?
Oh, it was an article. I don't have it in front of me, but
wow.
Founder of Ocean Way went there. This sucks. It was awful. Nothing about this sounds like a band playing through a PA.
Well, that's interesting.
Wow. It's not a band playing through a PA.
one of the guys that I at OSA here in Vegas went to see you two here in Vegas, and he said pretty much the same thing. So they agree.
Well, Mix Magazine has if you go to mixonline.com, they have a two sets of articles with interviews with John on how he had the mix set. And they also said, too, of all bands, PHISH is coming there next in April.
Yep. Beyonce probably, too. But what interests me the most about that, or what you just said, Greg, is that we have someone in our panel that's so sophisticated that they read Mix Magazine. I love it, man. Who would have known? Who would have thought?
Now including
Mix
front of house. So now including
see,
now including what's it including? Now including front of house. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I can't believe of all people I brought up the Sphere.
Yeah, I know.
I actually went to the Sphere and saw what they call the experience, the film.
Right.
Yeah.
Postcards from Earth.
How was
postcard,
that?
Senior postcard from Earth.
I heard that's supposed to be good.
It was quite good, yes, and the audio was quite adequate.
What system?
What
system are they using?
That's a very unique system there, Christopher. At
Called
the
hollow plot.
Yeah,
hollow plot system, I believe.
Thousands of drivers all over the place.
It's like very unique. It's
like 2,300 speakers.
At least.
I'm sure they stole the idea from the Grateful Dead Wall of Sound. That was their, that's probably where they got that idea of using all those little drivers.
I think if you ask me, it started with like the Martin MLA or the EAW Anya, and then they grew from that because it's all about directing
steering.
the sound.
Beam
steering. Beam steering. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Not to be a total fanboy, but the only one of those DSP steerable arrays that I've ever heard that I thought sounded any good at all was the Meyer Cal.
I didn't realize Meyer had one.
Yeah, the Meyer Cal. Yeah,
Kurt, what about the EAW one?
Yeah, that's Anya. Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I haven't heard that in a real setting at all. So a
lot of people.
MLA is pretty impressive, Kurt. You might be impressed by it.
Yeah. A lot of people can't make the Anya sound good except Robert Scoville. A lot of people say it's really harsh.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's not.
When I heard it on Patty, it was phenomenal.
There's not a
well,
lot
the
of
main
Anya
thing- main
boxes
thing about
around.
those-
You know, it's
main
not.
thing
There's
about
not a
those
lot of big
systems-
systems.
The main thing that's cool about those systems is how evenly they can cover the venue, and or not, or not cover certain areas. And that's what's cool. How did you walk around the venue, Fred, when you heard Petty there?
Yeah, no. Well, actually, we had an EAW school here out at ASU a couple years ago, and I actually went to a class and we set it up where they basically fired the PA straight down. You could sit in the room, you couldn't hear the PA, and you walked directly under the speaker and you could hear it.
Wow.
But you walked 3 feet out and you couldn't hear it anymore. Or they fired at the back wall. There was a big room with a glass window.
I think we must be really boring because I think David fell asleep. You guys see David?
Well, it's late at night.
Okay, so how are we going to wake up? Maybe can we start playing some Charo music or something? Maybe he'll think he's at a gig. And he missed the intro.
There you go. Who's got the Charo music?
It's late at night. It's
Hey,
5
I got
o'clock.
the masked
It's
singer on
5:50
right
in the
now.
evening. It's like we're really boring him. I mean, hey, look, I love it. That's it. Turn into thinking with friends, and it'll put you right to sleep. That's it. That's
It could be just
That's
tired.
good.
Don't you have a virtual sound check of Copacabana or something you could crank up real quick?
Yeah, sure.
No, it's like life in the fast lane. He's doing the Eagles cover band, Hotel California.
And it's
barely man enough.
and it's killing me.
I
That
saw that. Good.
it's killing me that he's not on the back lounge because boy, could I have fun.
Oh yeah.
You would think, well, quick, Photoshop this. You got him.
I can't.
You got him with the
that.
Photoshop.
I can't do better than that.
Either that, or maybe his camera's frozen. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. So basically, maybe he should go to Panera and get some of that caffeinated lemonade.
I think he's frozen.
Don't get me pulled down, Kenny. Don't get me pulled down on this with
Copyright.
Did you guys hear? Did you guys hear about this thing with Panera? The 2 people have died because they've drank their caffeinated lemonade because it's refillable, right? So these guys just like it's got a lot of caffeine, and people with heart conditions have been drinking it, and then 2 people have died from it, and so they're suing Panera over that. It's blown my mind.
And one of them was an athlete.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think the first suit or the second suit was was a female athlete who had this condition, and she, just like you said, she drank it, and that was it. She died.
She just didn't drink one of them. She drank like 3 of them. I mean, and it says it's caffeinated. So it's like, I mean, hey, I understand it, but it's crazy that like a caffeinated beverage will kill you, and then you're going to sue the place where you bought it and abuse the privilege of drinking so much of it.
Yeah,
well, how can you file a suit?
There was a great case at McDonald's where a woman ordered coffee through the drive-through, put the coffee cup,
the one we all dislike.
And as she was exiting McDonald's, she had to brake because there was another vehicle, and the coffee spilled, obviously in a sensitive area. She sued and won. Coffee
Which is amazing to me. Yeah, they say that it was too hot. Yeah, I guess but you hope to get a hot cup of coffee. That's why you drink it. If you wanted it cold, you'd say, "Can I have some iced coffee?" But hey,
yeah, it would have probably been more pleasant with iced coffee. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
that's why we need
goes to our
reform in the US.
Society. So.
Well, they've got to do tort reform. That's it. It's the reason that we're so litigious is that there's no limit on tort cases, and we have to put down some limits on tort.
Well, we're going to see what happens with the Sacklers, man. I mean, they settled for billions of dollars, and now it's not enough. They want to take everything from the Sacklers. They want to take all of it. Well,
It's all done. They've already signed their limited life. I don't see how they are going to extract another penny from them. They already negotiated. They paid. It's almost like double jeopardy.
What's that story? I didn't hear that one.
Oh, the Sackler family is the founders of a pharmaceutical company that developed Oxycontin. And that stuff's really gnarly. A friend of mine who was a snowboard instructor at Vail, Colorado, had an accident, took that, and until they wouldn't prescribe it anymore, and then he started into street versions of it. And he finally got help and got clean, but it's a very, very addictive substance. And they knew that, and they went ahead and marketed it anyway. And that's why they've gotten in such trouble.
Well, it's not that they just marketed it; they went nuts on it.
Oh,
they were paying doctors to prescribe it.
Yeah, it was originally developed. The original intent was for severe cancer patients, end of life type situations. And then somebody said, "Well, wait a minute, we can make a lot of money by saying it's for everything." Oh, you skinned your knee? Have some Oxycontin. There you go.
Purdue Pharmaceutical. That was it. Purdue Pharmaceutical.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when Quaaludes were popular back in the day. And I had this one doctor, Dr. Bundy, and they would only give you a prescription for 30, right? And you would go in, you'd give the nurse $20, and she would put you in to see the doctor, and the doctor would write you. He would take his stethoscope. He didn't even put it in his ears. He had it around his neck and put it on your chest. And they said, all right, you need 30. Okay, here you go, 30. You said, and then he would give you 30, I forgot, dilutants, which were the speed, so you could balance yourself out, right? He would do that. And then you'd give the doctor $20 and you'd leave, right? And then you would think, but basically, then you would come back a little later with a hat on, and you wouldn't even, because he was so old, he didn't even know who you were. He just same thing. Anyway, the feds ended up busting him.
Jan, wasn't his name Dr. Feelgood?
Yeah.
No, it was Dr. Bundy. Dr. Bundy at Beverly Hills. Yeah.
I think,
and the feds closed him down pretty quick.
Nice background, Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt, he was really good.
He's gonna be so mad when he wakes up.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
I think you see him stirring. Hey, David, how's it going?
Back to reality. He's coming back.
This is my nap time.
Yeah,
I had to get up early this morning. I had a stove delivered, so I didn't.
I thought we were boring you.
No, I'm exhausted.
Nothing wrong with the power nap. Soak up a bit more electrons.
Kurt, you should turn your camera off.
It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, look!
So is it?
Who else got something to think about out loud? Who wants to think out loud? Anybody? Who's got something they want to talk about that somebody has said to them recently? You should write a book about this.
Well, speaking of power naps, I saw an article this week that there was a study down in Antarctica that there's a certain species of penguins that takes 10,000 power naps a day, and they're only like 4 to 6 seconds long.
That's me.
Yeah.
I think you were down a little bit longer than 4 to 10 seconds.
So, Kenny Newman, I read the book. Craig, what's his name? It's Showtime.
Oh, Craig Hayes?
Yeah, Craig Hayes.
No kidding.
Yeah, I read it on the cruise.
Wow, how about that? How was it?
He almost mentions you. He doesn't quite get to talking about you, but Barry was a big part of it. And it was
He's been a big part of his life being at this showroom so much,
Yeah, it was interesting. Kenny showed us a book last week, and I decided to get it.
Oh, how about that? Craig would like that.
Yeah. Now the first half of it is he's talking about his family, all extended uncles and aunts, and how they're all part of working in Las Vegas or living in Utah.
Now, David, did you work with Barbara, his mom?
Yeah, I knew Barbara really well.
There you go.
Yeah, sure. That's why I read the book, because of Barbara.
I didn't put that connection together.
That wasn't his mom. It was his
Who are
aunt.
these people? Who are these people, David?
She was the entertainment director at the Riviera Hotel during its peak, before Splash and during Splash. You know, when Sinatra was there and all the acts were coming in. And so when I would play the Riviera, she was in charge of us. And she's just really a sweetheart, pretty lady, good at her job, and we get along great. You know, she was of the people. And she was Craig's father's sister or something like that. She was an aunt. Kenny, you're dead.
Oh, I thought she was his mom.
No.
Oh, she was the aunt, huh? Okay.
But yeah, she said, come here. She put him to work. He wasn't supposed to work because she thought the crew would rebel if she put her family in. And she put him in, and he did so well that the crew said, you can't let him go. And that was how it worked. And then he worked his way up to be production manager at the Hilton or wherever. Yep.
He's been here a long time.
Nothing like good nepotism. That's what I say.
Yeah,
Nothing
right.
like it.
Well, you know, it's who you know, but then it's what you know. Nobody wants to be embarrassed.
Well, not to mention what you do. If you don't do a good job, oh boy.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you could do a good job, but it's all perspective of what you do. You know, it all depends. And in the old days, it all depended on how the lead singer's girlfriend felt the way you were mixing. You know, that was it.
Yeah, the drummer's girlfriend.
Or the Beach
right,
Boys.
Was it the drummer's girlfriend?
The Beach Boys' father, they actually built a faux mixing board for this guy so that when they were in the studio, the Beach Boys' father had like all of these faders and dials that did absolutely nothing.
That's funny. You know what's really
I
funny?
think every front of house engineer has a manager's fader. You know, where the manager comes up and says, "Hey, can you turn up this or that?" And you know, you push a dead fader up, and you just turn around and say, "How's that?" And yeah, okay, cool. Well, cool. Thanks.
Hey, don't give our secrets away there, Greg. Don't give the secrets away.
I reached for the light dimmer, console light dimmer, adjust that a little bit. Is that better?
Yeah.
I did an event years ago. This is about 4 years ago. It was a conference. It was a conference event, and it was at a conference center or hotel conference center. There's like 3 other events going on. And the lady came in, and I had my dB meter, and we were way under what they wanted. And she goes, "Hey, you know, it's a little loud. Can you turn it down?" So I went to a fader that I actually had nothing going into, and I just brought it down. Oh, perfect right there. Nothing changed. Mine's like, just bring it down another. By the time it was said and done, I never touched a thing. And she's all sitting there. My buddy is looking at me like, "Dude, he didn't do anything." I said, "I know." I said, "It's all psychological." I said, "They think if they see a fader going down in their head, the volume's going down when it's not really changing."
So I got a friend that works at the Paramount here, and years ago, some lady walked up to him at set break and said that it was, I don't know if it was too loud or too quiet or seat or what, she couldn't hear it just right. And he's mixing, this is a long time ago, it was a 4K. And he says, "Well, what seat are you in? What row and what seat?" And she's like, "Well, I'm row 10, seat 8 or something like that." So he goes over to fader bank 10, goes up to aux 8 and turns it off. She says, "There, it'll be better at your seat now." And she never came back.
Absolutely perfect.
You know, hey, listen,
Everybody,
do you think
write
that
that one
somebody
down.
can hear
That's
the
a good
difference?
one, Kurt. Write that
I gotta
one
remember
down.
that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, these days we have a lot of knobs we can go to, so we could go right to every seat in the house, right, Kurt?
Yeah, you can just scroll right to their seat, Ken. And how's
Yeah.
that?
Well, you
Yeah,
can do that.
exactly.
You supposedly can do that at the Sphere, right? You supposedly can have English one thing and French on the next seat over.
At the experience that I went to, there's a little demonstration of that in the lobby. They have 3 speaker clusters, and it's an area of maybe 15, 20 feet wide. And you walk through, and you walk through English, and then another language, and another language, and another language, and they're very separate. Wow. Very separate. Just walking in front of them, you know, you're like maybe 10 feet in front of them. What I wonder is if it works at a distance. I hear it does.
Yeah.
That's what they say. They
Mm.
say that every seat can have a different language if it had to be that
Well,
way.
yeah,
And
every section.
I
Maybe.
can't believe that at that kind of distance.
Yeah, but maybe every section.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Or if that
know,
would
Oh my
help me with my
God! How did
partner.
we go back to talking about the sphere again?
Here we go.
The spirits,
Well,
everybody's
Katie's all
every
about
audio
the
guy's
spirit.
favorite topic. Until we get there and actually mix on that system, we're going to be talking about it, Jazz.
That's right. I don't want
Well,
to know
there you
how it
go.
works.
It is Meyer Space
Well-
Map though that they're using with the U2. I found that out.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
That's
It
how
said
they're
that
doing
in
the
an
plan.
article I quoted, as a matter of fact.
Right. I also read Mix magazine.
Yep.
Oh my God, this is amazing. You know what the most amazing thing about this particular episode of our conversation? We have a drummer in the room, and he's been here for about an hour now, and that one drummer joke has come up. I love it. That's we are a sophisticated crowd here.
We get a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Well, he's just waiting because he's not sure when to come in.
Yeah.
Dave, you still up? Dave, you still with us?
Yeah. No click tracks on this Zoom call. Yeah.
Well, you know, the interesting thing to me about the sphere and talking about it is of all the mixing that is as how they do the drum kit, because that seems to would be the hardest part. That, you know, to get the drum mix correct based on the hollow plot, you know, and I guess of course another thing would be hard.
That's one of the things that the Ocean Way guy was saying is that there's so much latency that you can't listen and watch the drummer at the same time, no matter where you are. It'll drive you nuts.
Yeah, Ted Wolfers had a video on that. Remember that, Kurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Earthworks drum mics, and I've got a separate mic for every tom, and drums are just the bleed is just impossible, and it's one of the reasons why I actually like this Roland rig behind me is that it's electronic, right? You can get each outs on each of the toms and instruments. There's no bleed. There's no you want to pitch up the snare, you just turn a knob. And
well, it's not an isolation issue with the sphere, it's a latency issue. It's like 120 milliseconds or something of latency.
Yeah.
It's incredibly
well. The problem is that the stage is in front of the PA.
Yeah.
So you hear the drums before you hear the PA, and you have the latency built in to the PA as well because of the digital whatever. I mean, Robert talked about that before the building even opened.
You've got to be behind a sneeze guard. There's no way to do it.
120. That's gigantic.
Yeah, imagine you're paying for those nice front row seats. I mean, I would sit in the back of the arena.
Though. The best seat, from what I'm seeing from everybody saying, it's the 300 section is your best sounding seats.
I would expect it's like watching a show with binoculars. Have you ever done that? Have you ever been back and watched people play with actual binoculars? You can't do it for very long because it's the speed of light versus the speed of sound. It just doesn't work. It'll drive your brain nuts.
Anybody got a quick calculation? I mean, if you have speakers that are 20 meters in front of the stage, what's the delay?
Well, what people are saying about it, it's right around 125 milliseconds.
I know that 120 meters. 120 meters times 3.
No, millimeters, not meters. Meters would be crazy.
Milliseconds, I said, not meters.
Yeah, meters would be nuts.
Oh no, but I mean, if you've got speakers, front of house, and then you have a second set halfway through the room. I mean, wow, 120 milliseconds is even.
Well,
I do IT work. If you're doing, I do IT work, voice over IP, all of that stuff. If I've got a link with 120 millisecond delay, that actually is going to confuse speaker and listener when they're talking on phones.
But
it's about 120 feet.
People have successfully done it to the point to where they're doing it nightly. So, well, at least weekending,
But they had to change They had to change everything. The drummer was never behind glass. There are no live amps on stage because they would be massively out of time. And there are no wedges. Everybody's on ears, which U2 was not like that before, because the band can't be able to hear the PA or they'll never be able to play.
Right.
And you can't have any leakage from the stage because it will drive everyone nuts in the first 20 rows.
Yeah, so they can't even have audience mixed in so they get a feel for what the room is.
Nope, it's completely isolated. It has to be. Otherwise,
it's insane.
They probably have some kind of something that ramps up the crowd noise between songs so they can do the banter stuff. But even that will be strange.
Yeah, put it this way: Iron Maiden will never play the Sphere.
Well, people were saying the Stones were going to go, and I hope not. That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, who wants to see an IMAG of guys that are 80 years old? Nobody wants to see an IMAG of 80-year-old men.
Why do you think a band like Iron Maiden would never play the Sphere?
Well, their
stage they got to have their amps. They would need their amps.
Their stage volume is higher than AC/DC stage volume. I mean, their side fills, they have their own custom side fills that they built, and it's still old school. No, and they have line arrays on either side, but there's a kill zone for Bruce, and that kill zone, there's 10 kilowatts aside, and you don't walk into the kill zone.
So here's the thing about the Sphere that maybe not everybody knows. I heard, and this may just be a rumor, but I heard that it can not only operate the way it is now with U2, where the stage is in front of the sound system, but they can also put the stage upstage of the video wall in a proscenium opening of the video wall.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet though.
So that if that happens, then I think that changes everything for a lot of bands. It's not going to be the same kind of experience as what U2 is doing, but it'll still be very all-encompassing because there'll be so much video,
Yeah.
Well, we got to see even if they move it back, Kenny. Even if they move it back, they're not going to allow any additional PA in that room.
No, why would they? Why would they? They have the best sound system in the world, according to them, right? So therefore,
we're not hearing that.
So it's just a matter of the sound system is above the band and way wider than the band instead of next to the band, like everybody's kind of accustomed to these days.
Right.
It's a sound system, it's their sound system. I suspect that they will say, "This is our sound system. Deal with it."
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what they are saying.
But the fact that U2 is in front of the sound system is not possible for a lot of performers. And so the fact that they possibly can put the band upstage of the sound system, that changes everything, if you ask me.
I just watched a cool episode of Smarter Every Day, and they had a bicycle where he put a gearbox on it, so when you turn to the right, the wheel went to the left, right, for riding a bicycle. And so he got used to riding it that way, and then he went on vacation and had to go try to ride a real bicycle, and his brain couldn't comprehend how to get on a real bicycle because he would turn to the right expecting to go left. And so it's the same thing, I'm going to guess, in this building. I mean, there's only going to be certain bands, like you say, they're going to be able to come in and deal with this closed off, isolated. You're standing there in front of a live audience, but you can't hear them, you can't touch them, you can't do anything. It's going to be really strange for those people.
Hey, Ken.
What I don't understand is how they're saying right now that this is like what everybody's, this is what everybody wants to live up to. This is the state of the art, and this is what everybody wants to.
It's a different type of show.
Everybody wants to be.
I guess if you want to be immersive, visually, that's what this is about. If you're a band that has a great creative artist and videographers and whatever, and you are what do you call it, an animation team or whatever it is, if you're all about visual, then sure, you might be able to do it, but most bands don't. They're there for the live interaction.
Yeah. Well,
And-
I know two bands that might be able to go in there and play. Kiss is one of them. And the reason I say that is because they had their last show, and then at the end of the show, they had animation of them playing. So that they could have Kiss animation playing there.
It was 10 minutes in. If you follow Nightbob's thing, you know, who works with Kiss for many years, he just said, well, it's good that it, you know, all things come to pass. And he you know, praised the fans and everything like that. And then he says, and sure enough, 10 minutes into the show, here come the Kiss avatars. Off we go again, you know. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll see the Kiss avatars on the cartoon channel sometime soon.
Also, the ABBA avatars. That's another thing that, you know, and ABBA might be able to pull it off. They might be able to put in an ABBA show in the Sphere.
Well, the first band after following U2 is going to start in what, April, and it's going to be
PHISH.
that's
PHISH.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah. What's their instrumentation on stage? Do you know?
Guitar, bass, drums, and keys, and they all play through amps.
So then I'm going to guess they're going to do the proscenium setup thing, but I'm guessing because are they going to want to be in front of the PA?
Who knows?
It's a jam band. I mean, probably open to anything, but it doesn't seem like it would work well.
And they're not going to want to play through anything but a Meyer PA. What's up with that? Right? It's pretty
so if I make myself a shirt with your quote that says "This is the sound system, deal with it," for the summers, that's gonna be all right.
That's what they're probably going to say, right?
Is that going to work when I get the tours coming in?
Oh.
Well, at
thinking out loud, this is the sound system.
Because they're at the Sphere, it's a cutting edge place,
live
and
with it.
they call the shots as opposed to other places that don't. You know.
Yeah,
It's
this is
probably
the
written
sound
into the
system. Live with
contract
it. Is that it?
so-
Is that the quote? Deal with it. Deal with it. This is the
That's
sound
what
system.
the Sphere
Deal with
people
it.
are probably saying to the bands.
It'll be interesting to see what's in that building in like 10
They're
years.
they're not going to let them fly anything, right? Right, Jan?
No.
No,
You
they
can't.
say no.
There's no rating for it.
The sound system that they have in there is quite cutting edge. So there's no way they're going to let anybody bring in a sound system, right? So with that premise, they've got to use what's there. It's only a matter of how they use it.
Just
I
from an
could just see
economic
10 years
standpoint
from
of
now,
view.
Cirque du Soleil in the Sphere.
Well, it's just from an economics point of view right now. This year they've lost $100 million, I've heard.
I wonder if that was
100
part
million
of their
first year.
part of their business plan though, do you think, Jan? Or were they hoping to make money?
I don't think
A lot of
anybody
companies-
said, I don't think anybody can raise money saying, listen, and the first year we're gonna lose $100 million. You know,
But what was their expenditure for the Sphere? It was over $1
$2.3 billion.
Yeah, so 100 million is just a relatively small percentage of that, right?
Yeah, but if you think about how long it would take to amortize 2.3 billion over how many years,
It's crazy.
If you start losing money, it's not like Amazon, you know, where Amazon was operating with deficits for years, but their business model was proven, and look where they are now. But man, if you're sitting in a place where the sound is kind of funky compared to the visual experience and you're already losing money.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be the whole idea is to make advertising on the outside.
Yeah.
They're gonna charge the kind of stuff Super Bowl rates for the advertising on the outside for the airplanes and the people going by and the stuff that's happening 18 hours a day, not the 2 or 3 hours that are.
The exact Super Bowl is happening in that exact city in a couple months,
right?
So they're going to go with that for sure.
That's what I'm saying. So they're going to make that's where they're going to make their money is the 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day, whatever, on the outside of the building, not the 2 or 3 hours.
Not $100 million that they're losing. Are they going to not lose because the place is open now? What do you think?
I saw a thing in Advertising Age that Coca-Cola, the week of the F1, spent $4 million on Sphere advertising.
But that's nothing. It's 4 million is 1/10 of 1%. That's
true,
nothing.
True, but I mean, you know,
that may be part of their revenue model. Obviously, it is.
Yeah.
And Jan, did you hear about how they were trying to extort restaurants and people that had a view of the F1 in Vegas?
No, tell us about it.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine's was out in Vegas, and he's got friends that are operators out there. And apparently, during the Formula One, prior to the race, the Formula One people were going around to restaurants and bars that you could look out the window and see the race course. And they were basically trying to extort money from them and saying, look, if you don't pay, we're going to take LED lights and shine them into your window so that you can't see.
Well, you know, it goes back to the days of Las Vegas when it was run by the mob.
Well, they did cover all the pedestrian walkway, you know, the glass to the left and right of the pedestrian walkways over the street, so that pedestrians could not see the race. They wanted to get every possible dollar for viewing their race, right?
But they said that was to protect the drivers because they didn't want the drivers to see these people. It made no sense to me, whatever, you know. But it was pretty much a failure this year. But they've got 10 more years to make it good. So we'll see what happens if they stay with the contract, you know.
Oh, it didn't
Las
work out.
Vegas is an amazing city.
Where did that race
didn't work out.
ultimately show up? Where did that race ultimately show up? Who covered that race?
ESPN,
ESPN?
ABC,
Was it live?
live on ESPN, ABC, 8 hours later, because live was in the middle of the night Eastern.
It was in the middle of the night in Las Vegas too. Didn't the race start at about 11 o'clock at night?
Right.
It started at 10.
So
10
Oh,
a.m.
yeah, they ran Formula 3 at night in Vegas.
At 10 o'clock, the race started.
Well, I guess they had to do that for the cars so that they had
Formula
so the cars would
One.
be cool enough. Yeah.
Oh, it was for the people in Europe to watch the race. That's why they did it.
well, you don't think it would be too hot during the day in Las Vegas?
Not in November.
Not
And they
November.
also said too, it you know, people have to go to work, and they didn't want to disrupt the casinos and the revenue generators there too much.
They
did.
disrupted it quite a bit. So
Yeah.
that was like this much more by doing it at night, you know, instead.
Yeah.
No, I heard a lot of businesses were hurt by this. A lot of the small businesses, they lost a lot of business because it kept the locals away because nobody wanted to go by the strip if you didn't have to at that point in time. And then, of course, the occupancy of the hotels was nowhere near what they expected. They had to drop rates. They just didn't have it just wasn't effective enough as far as a money-making opportunity for the people. And a lot of people lost money too.
I suspect if they would have done this years ago before they started charging for everything, charging for parking. Remember when Vegas used to be free? They probably would have sold those hotels out, but you know, geez, well,
I'm sure you had an F1 resort fee.
Yeah.
I heard parking for the Sphere now is $125. No, what? Ken?
It's $20. $20. Well, wait, on U2 show nights it could be different, but when I went, it was $20. Right?
I heard it was $125.
Oh, and how much was the movie, by the way?
$178, including fees.
Nothing for a movie. Nothing. I spend that all the time. I just saw the
for a movie. For a fucking movie. But
Yeah,
hey,
but
I got to hear the holoplot in the lobby going one language, another language. No, but
it's a Vegas event though. It's I saw the Beatles for $70-some, the Love Show. So everything in Vegas is about $70-80.
Well, it was
a movie, a 20-minute movie, 2 people, $340. Then
it wasn't 20 minutes. It wasn't 20 minutes.
But the price drops depending on what's going on. The price.
Not really.
When I'm going to be there in January, it's going to be about $80 a ticket.
Did you check that already? Really?
Yeah, my daughter did.
The parking at the YouTube concert was $100 for self parking and $125 for valet.
So when I went to the experience, it was only $20 though.
There you go.
Well, that's
So-
because you've got that
He's up.
BMW, man. They said, well,
No.
this guy, he can
No, because
afford
I
it,
was
so we're
going
not
to,
gonna
I was going
charge
to
him.
take the monorail because I'm staying at a hotel that's right next to the monorail, and I heard the monorail drops you up pretty close to the Sphere. But that was $6 each way. So I was like, well, $12 or $20. I'll pay $20 to be able to go wherever I want afterwards. You know?
Good thing you did because the monorail does not drop you off close.
Oh yeah, it's not close.
It's not at all. No,
Oh.
you have when you get off the monorail, you have to walk through Venetian, and then come
Oh,
out
yeah.
the side street, and then you have to walk up a little across the street into the wind parking and go. Yeah, it's
Great.
not close.
So
They
great.
start charging for the monorail now? They used to be free.
No,
Really?
they started charging like 10 years ago, something like that, 10 or something years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
You could always parasail.
it did
in,
used to
Kenny.
be free,
That's
but
it.
I wonder
cheaper.
if the monorail is more expensive when U2 is playing also. I doubt
I don't
it.
know because I doubt it. Those prices never go up.
Yeah, they
Everything must
probably
be
have
more
a-
expensive when YouTube's playing.
Yeah, they probably have a little square set up so you can tip after you leave the monorail.
By the way, I heard that the video of the F1 race is really good. I was talking to somebody who was talking to me about it, and he said, "Hey, the video. I saw the videos of the F1 race in Las Vegas. It was really impressive. So it might be really impressive if they have some nice video, because it would be a very visually acceptable experience to watch a car going through the Las Vegas Strip pretty quick, I guess." I'll have to look at it myself, YouTube it, and see what happens. Because if it's there, it's on YouTube. That's for sure.
It's too sophisticated
Just like we
for
are.
Americans. Americans are only used to people turning left.
Welcome to NASCAR. Yes, ladies and
NASCAR,
gentlemen.
home of the
Welcome to NASCAR. Yep, that and a mobile home. That's it. Give me a mobile home and NASCAR. I'm a happy guy. I'm a happy guy. All right. Well, look, we've been talking for a long time, an hour and a half, I guess, and we can keep going if you like. But I think it's best to say goodbye to social media because nobody's going to listen to this for that long, even us. Just remember, share the show, share the link to the show, give it a thumbs up. We're on all social medias, so do it. Remember, it's now Thinking Out Loud, so anything you want to talk about is fair game now. I'll have a few stories that I'll bring up, but for the most part, it's whatever you guys want to talk about. So we're going to introduce Wayne's Corner again, where Wayne will talk about some oblivious thing that nobody knows about except for Wayne, but he needs to know. And an inquiring mind, we want him to know. Right, Wayne?
Absolutely.
Coming to all the way from Walla Walla, Wagga Wagga, Wagga Wagga. That's right.
Don't leave the Wagga
Wagga
around a
Wagga.
Wagga.
Oh man, I have a picture for you. I went to the local market, and they had a display of cornflake boxes in Thailand. I was so impressed. I said, "Man," I thought of Wayne immediately. I said, "Man, I'm going to take a picture of this and send it to Wayne." I took the picture. I never sent it to you. Damn.
And the cornflakes box.
So who
I
invented
knew it to
Kellogg's?
tell-
Who was the first inventor of Kellogg's?
Mr. Kellogg.
Mr.
Basically,
Kellogg.
it was a health food cereal. That was the idea. It was a health food cereal.
Isn't there a Kellogg family? Isn't there a Kellogg family? I seem to remember.
Dr. Kellogg ran the most famous sanitarium and health spa in the country at the turn of the century. And it's actually a recipe that him and his little brother developed. And the little brother took it to market, and then they had a huge lawsuit and falling out. But the little brother is actually the one who made it what it is now. And Dr. Kellogg, who came up with the recipe originally, never had anything to do with the whole Kellogg's cereal and all that entire corporation. The food.
Is there any truth to the rumor that every box in the beginning had an Oxycontin in it? That's it. And that's why it became so popular. You'd have a Coca-Cola with some real Coke in it and an Oxycontin with Kellogg's. What the hell? So I doubt that's true, but what the hell? I know the Coca-Cola part is true. I've been looking for a bottle of that stuff for a long time, but it was used to be green too. Coca-Cola was green.
Well,
So-
Jan, you're in the only country in the world where you can get actual concentrated Red Bulls in like little bottles.
Oh, the taurine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah, they
actually
have
like
that.
a syrup. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's great. I tell you what, every time I'm in Bangkok, boy, forget going out drinking. I do go out drinking. I just go to 7-Eleven, or go to the Robinson store, get me a bunch of those. Boy, do I put some miles on the treadmill after there.
That's right. And then you look forward to hearing that. Then you look forward to hearing for the Thailand motto. Oh, we love you long time. We love you long time.
We love you long time.
I think you need one of those out there. You need one of those Panera lemonades.
I got something to tell you. Yesterday we went away. We came home, and I opened the door to my office, and behind my computer there was a bunch of cables, and it's like on my desk, so you could see it's like very visible. And I noticed one of the cables seemed to be moving as I walked into the door, and sure enough, it was a snake. A snake had come into the house somehow. We think it came in through the air conditioner. It crawled, and I mean, it was like 2 feet long, and I fucking freaked out. I told you, it was a little black snake. It was like really thin, but really long.
Did you scream like a little girl, I hope?
No, Bo did. Bo ran out of the house immediately. She saw it, and boom, right out the house. It was called a green snake, but I looked at it and it looked black to me. It was a black snake as far as I'm concerned, but it didn't look very dangerous. It looked at me, it smiled, pretty quick little fucker. And I called the management company right away. I said, hey, hell, and they texted me back, what's up? And I said, there's a snake in the house. I need help immediately. And within 2 minutes, 5 guys from the complex was in the house. They were looking for the snake. It was on my desk, but the snake had crawled down the desk all the way to the other side, and it was now all the way in the far corner under the bed, because in the office I have a bed. And 2 of these guys, they moved the bed, and they had these little 1x2 sticks that you would use for building, and they moved the bed, and they saw this whacking a snake, and finally they caught it, and they brought it out of the house. But I'm freaked out now that at any time, I've been here almost a year and a half. We've rented this place, and we never had a snake problem before. We've seen some spiders and some ants, but and geckos.
Good.
Well, Jan,
but the snake
you'll be happy
was something
to know
else.
There's a Simpsons episode about snake whacking.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm saying to myself, I'm freaking out that we had one snake in the house, and fortunately it wasn't a cobra. That's it.
So you're never going to go.
Came in.
You're never going to go near cable piles again, huh?
No, I got, it's like I woke up in the middle of the night thinking that they better fill in the hole where that snake got in the first place. I realized that I should have said that to them yesterday. Get in there and fill out that hole so no more snakes come in. And then I found out at one point when they cleaned the air conditioners out 6 months ago, Bo was telling me they found a snake skeleton, where the snake had shed. So today, as soon as I get off this show, I'm calling the office and saying, hey, get somebody out here and seal that hole where the air conditioning tube goes into the house, So anyway, but that's about the size of it. Listen, next week we'll be back on Wednesday. Same time, same bat plan, same bat time, same everything. Thanks for coming, everybody. Just remember, everything you heard today was an opinion, so do your own research. But thinking out loud, I love it. Thinking out loud with friends is what we're calling this from now on, and invite anyone you know. Share the show, give it a thumbs up, and I want to thank everybody for coming today. So before I say goodbye, is there anybody that has any last thoughts they want to share with social media?
Maybe we change the name to Nap Time with Jan.
Thank you, David.
How about Jan and the guys? But hey, I would just say, am I allowed to? I'm not sure you're gonna sanction this, Jan. But I was listening to the Signal to Noise podcast today, and it was the episode with the inventor of the sound bullet, and I thought it was very interesting. So I would recommend that episode of Signal to Noise to anybody that.
No, why would I have an objection to that?
Because it's another podcast that's
oh no, you got to encourage people listening podcasts. I believe that to be true. It's a great show. We've been interviewed on that. It's a fun show. There's a few
anyway
of us that are doing podcasts.
The inventor of the sound bullet. You guys use the sound bullet at all?
I do.
Yeah, I was just
what
really
is it?
amazed to hear. It's a little like a small version of the CUBAN basically, but it's a little testing device that plugs right into an XLR or takes an XLR input into it and has a little speaker in it so you can listen or you can generate pink noise. The one thing I haven't listened to the whole episode yet, but the part of the episode that I listened to, I was disappointed that they didn't focus on the fact that Sound Bullet puts out pink noise as opposed to CUBAN puts out an A440 tone. And the pink noise I think is much more useful than the A440. But they didn't say that at all. They just said, yeah, the Sound Bullet does this and the CUBAN does that and so forth and so on. But it was interesting to hear the guy that invented it didn't even know what a CUBAN was. Can you believe it?
Who wouldn't know what a CUBAN was? I know what a cue ball is, but
I have a friend of mine that bought one, but the apparently the on-off function is kind of funky, and you have to charge it with a USB-C charger. And the first time they went to go pull it out of their bag, it was dead because the on-off switch is kind of weird.
Well, the on-off switch on mine has not been, faulty or whatever, but it's very solid and it's definitely off when it's off. But the interesting thing, you mentioned USB-C. I have an earlier version, which is USB micro, and they changed it in the newer versions to USB-C. And I just heard on this podcast that you can get a retrofit kit to get your my version, which is USB micro, converted to USB-C. I have to look into that.
Yeah, me too. I got the same way you do.
I'm gonna have to have her do that too, because I think hers is micro.
There you go. So I mean, USB-C is so much more universal these days. I was thinking it might be worthwhile to do the conversion if it's not too expensive.
And I use Myers.
We'll stay in the room and talk about this. We'll stay in the room and talk about it. Let social media go. Remember, you make it happen. If you want to be in part of the conversation before and after, we'll send you a link. Just DM us in any way. Anybody on the show can send you a DM of where and how to join us live. And again, I apologize for my video today. We're doing it on an iPad because I've had some problems with Sonoma on the Mac, but I will fix that for next week for sure. And that's all there is to it. But thanks everybody for listening. Remember, you make it happen. Go out, have a great week, and get ready for Christmas. And we will talk to you again next week. So until then, stay safe and stay healthy and make it happen. All right. And